Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Tonight is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. This is live stream number 770. Zoinks! If this is your first time tuning in, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And then we normally will take a peek at a tabletop game. Tonight, I am going to dive on into the Gamemaster Book for the 4th edition of Fading Suns from Ulisses Spiele. So we will be doing that in just a bit. As a special bonus, we're also going to take a peek at the Gamemaster screen for 4E Fading Suns as well. Because this book's like 112 pages long, so it won't take us too long to be taking a peek at it. Of course, this is a live stream, so we tackled the tabletop gaming news first. So if you're not familiar with the dispatch, please keep in mind, it'll be about 30 minutes or so before we start taking a peek at the Gamemaster Book for Fading Suns. Now, if you're watching this after the stream ends, any more than 30 minutes or more afterwards, there will be timestamps. And if you'd like, you can jump right past the tabletop gaming news right on into the first look if you would like. Although I've got a lot of cool news tonight, so maybe you should take a peek. Alrighty, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my review of Empire of the Ghouls for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons from Kobold Press. And this is good stuff. So definitely give it a peek. Yes. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And lastly, because this is a live stream, that also means there's chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. Plus, you have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I try to keep some more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So first out the gate tonight is the Motor City Madman. That's right. The Madman himself is with us. He is one of our 2 chat moderators. Our other chat moderators, Flaming Huron, who is also with us in chat. Melwinius from York is joining us. It's been a bit since we've seen Melwinius, so good to see Melwinius once again. And we also have Joshua Edwards saying that it's a book well worth a peek. I'm not sure if he's talking about Fading Suns or Empire of the Ghouls. I know Empire of the Ghouls is worth a peek, so I can tell you that much. All right. So let's see what's going on here. Yes, the Madman yesterday had posted in chat they had to leave because a family friend had passed away, and I guess they passed from COVID-related health issues. Awful. Just awful. As the Madman points out, COVID is not done with us. It is not. And I'm a bit concerned with people just, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just like the boosters, right? I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to tell me I should get a fourth booster or what. I'm not over 65, but I did have a triple bypass less than a year ago. So I got my third shot. I had no complaints about that. And if they tell me, yeah, it's probably a good idea to get a fourth, I will go get a fourth shot. A lot of people out there haven't even gotten their boosters. They're like, forget it. It's messing with my freedoms. I don't know. We won't get into a lot of it, but what about my freedom not to get COVID from some jerk off who doesn't want a shot? What about my freedom? Freedom from COVID from some moron. Anyway, my condolences to the Madman out there. It's terrible. Terrible. And I think I just saw it was a 3-month battle with COVID. It's incredible. There's people who have been dealing with COVID-related, I guess we would say, after effects for months. Some people, it's permanent. Insane. I don't take it lightly. Then again, I have an 85-year-old father. I can't take it lightly. 245 Trioxin has joined us in chat. Good to see you. All right, let's move on to a bit more pleasant topics here, because following a successful Kickstarter run, Usurp the King is coming from DPH Games. It's actually hitting stores in May. Here's what I know. The king may be in trouble. The court that surrounds him contains subjects who seek power. Each player represents a family that will vie for control over subjects. Featuring 7 victory conditions, the path to victory may shift as you gain more information about each subject's motives and those of the other families. Your allegiances will twist and change based on your interests. The subjects are but pawns. The game is played over 3 phases. The intrigue phase. Players will gather information, exert influence, and gather resources. Each member of the court has a role. Each player may look at one role, place an influence token on a court member, and select a leverage card to add to their hand. There's the rebellion phase. After each player has taken 5 turns during the intrigue phase, they will keep 5 cards in their hand and set 4 cards aside in their reserve. In order of the leverage item number, cards will be played to bribe, conspire, stab, poison, and to shift alliances. And then lastly, we have the scoring phase. One of the unique aspects of this game is the 7 different victory conditions. Players may change what condition they're attempting to achieve as the game evolves. After all leverage cards, the winning player will be determined based on the resulting court conditions. Which of the following living court members do they control? The usurper will win if 2 other court members are disgruntled and the usurper has not been bribed. The king will win if the king is alive and the usurper has not won. The heir will win if the king is dead, the usurper has not won, and the heir is not disgruntled. A lot of disgruntled folks. The bastard will win if the king is dead, the usurper and the heir have not won, and the bastard is not, you guessed it, disgruntled. If none of the above conditions have been met, the player that controls the most ungruntled, I guess we'll say non-disgruntled court members, will win. Usurp the King is for 2 to 5 players, age 13 and up, plays around 35 to 50 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $25 when it arrives in May. Batman says that they just got Usurp the King last week. They backed it on Kickstarter, and it looks like it's going to be fun. Very nice. Yeah, this looks kind of interesting. It's got an interesting art style to it. And I thought it was kind of interesting. It's got all the various different win conditions depending on who you're controlling and what takes place. So I thought that was pretty nice. Coco B has arrived in chat saying hello from the wilds of Canada. Well, they're at a resort in the woods, so I guess not too wild. Next news piece. Arriving next month from PSC Games is Blitzkrieg Combined Edition. Here's the skinny on the game. Recreate World War II in 20 minutes. The perfect war game for non-war gamers, Blitzkrieg allows two players to battle across the war's most iconic theaters, winning key campaigns and building military might. Players draw army tokens from a bag to determine their starting forces and to replenish their losses. Rather than fighting battles with dice or cards, players allocate their military resources to each theater's campaigns, winning victory points, further resources, special weapons, and strategic advantages as they play. Refight World War II several times in one evening. Two players battle across the war's most iconic theaters, winning key campaigns and building their military might. Blitzkrieg is a challenging game with simple rules, a short playing time, and many tough decisions. Close campaigns win war victory points, gain further resources and special weapons, and exploit strategic advantages as you play. This includes the Nippon expansion, which adds a new challenge to Blitzkrieg. What if the Axis coalition had won World War II and Germany invaded and occupied the United States of America? And what if Japan actually turned on his former ally and invaded German-held America? With the help of Godzilla? No joke, that's in the game. I'm not making that up. Blitzkrieg Combined Edition is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 20 minutes or more. It's going to carry an MSRP of $40 when it hits stores in April. They kind of lost me on the Godzilla. I got to admit. So they're like, this sounds kind of interesting. Okay. And then just the Nippon expansion where Germany took over the U.S., Japan's invading. Yeah, it's a little Man in the High Castle vibe to it. But then they throw Godzilla in, and I'm like, okay, now you're getting silly. Now you're being silly. Mr. Eddie T has popped on into chat. Good to see you, Eddie. And of course, that probably means Sarah D is not far behind. So howdy, Eddie and Sarah. So let's talk about some role-playing game news, because coming in April, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out in April, right? Like around the April 20th, to be honest. Anyway, coming in April from Goodman Games is the 19th release in the 5th edition fantasy line. Here's the latest on Denizens of the Reed Maze. This is a level 3 adventure for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Your band of adventurers is gaining quite a reputation for yourselves in the Borderlands. A local patron encourages you to investigate a recently aggressive band of frog folk stirring in the nearby fens. The frog folk have displaced a benevolent tribe of lizard folk, and rumors persist they gather resources for an all-out war. The frog folk have even cut twisting passages through the tall reed grass to defend the route to their hilltop lair. Something sinister must be behind these actions. Following a trek through the stinking morass of the Reed Maze, your band finds a hidden shrine once dedicated to the Earth Mother, but now the lair of the frog folk leader. But not as all as it seems in this desecrated temple. What foul eldritch sorceries have corrupted the frog folk leader, and can the heroes put an end to its diabolical machinations? Denizens of the Reed Maze is an all-new 5e wilderness crawl adventure suitable for a group of third-level characters. Contained herein are challenges that test the mettle of both seasoned players and neophytes. In addition to detailed encounters in the swampy Reed Maze, this module contains a keyed frogfolk village, a ruined shrine now controlled by the despicable new leader of the tribe, plus full 5e statistics on several varieties of frogfolk. This adventure arrives on April 20th. I was just telling you, cool stuff's coming out April 20th. You can receive the softcover and PDF by ordering from Goodman Games, and both together carry an MSRP of $9.99. Sweet. I have not seen any of the 5th edition fantasy releases. I know there was a Humble Bundle not too long ago where I think you could get, I think it was the first 17. I don't think it had the 18th. I think it had the first 17, but it was a sweet deal. But I didn't snag it. So what can I tell you? I didn't grab it. Perkins Dearborn has popped on into chat. Good to see you, Perkins. Now available in PDF and coming soon to hardcover is the Coyote Crow role-playing game. Here's the dope. Science fantasy role-playing in an uncolonized future. More than 700 years ago, a massive disaster changed the course of history. The world was plunged into centuries of darkness, but the event also introduced the Adonidi, the gift, a strange mark that appeared on all life. This mark could have an enduring impact on humanity. Centuries later, the earth is healing. New advanced nations have risen. Ancient legends stir. Coyote Crow is a tabletop role-playing game set in an alternate future where colonization of the Americas never happened. In this world that is both familiar and entirely new, you'll take on the role of heroic characters adventuring in a changing landscape. Coyote Crow is a bold look into a different future full of possibilities and fresh perspectives, created and developed by a diverse indigenous-led team. A unique, fresh take on classic fantasy and science fiction role-playing. It includes breathtaking art from dozens of native artists, a new dice system created just for this game, which uses only 12-sided dice, and a rule system that doesn't focus on violence as the first option for story resolution. The 482-page hardcover core book for Coyote Crow will carry an MSRP of $70 when it arrives on April 20th. Well, the PDF is actually available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $25. That is a pretty sweet deal for that PDF. $25, 482-page book. Lately, we've been seeing those prices be pretty wacky, right? 482 pages, $60 PDFs from some companies. So Joshua says that Coyote Crow is awesome. I have not taken a peek. I did share news of the Kickstarter when it ran. And if I remember right, I think it funded in minutes. I think it funded in the first hour. And it does look interesting. So that's why I wanted to share the news piece about it. Finally, there is a new adventure for Swords and Wizardry that's arrived from my pals over at MonkeyBlood Design and Publishing. Here's the details on Rancid Canyons of the Floating Death Sheep. Yes, you heard that correctly. Yarrowbone is known for its delicious cured and smoked meats. Folk travel for hundreds of miles to sample the delightful tastes and textures of the villagers' meaty products. There's a problem, though. Something is ravaging the livestock populations out in the Badlands, leaving dismembered and disemboweled sheep out rotting in the midday sun. Ew, lovely. Yarrowbone's leader, Hester Ceres, is worried, and the farmers and shepherds are having to graze their flocks elsewhere to keep the dwindling meat supply safe. Unfortunately, as the herd animals have not been reared and fed on the vegetation found in the Badlands, the taste of their meat isn't the same, and consequently, the locals are getting restless as sales have declined. Several groups, including an angry mob of locals, have gone out to try and hunt whatever is devastating their livestock, but they too have generally ended up as carcasses for the vultures. Only one person has lived to tell the tale, and he refuses to go out there again. Most of the bodies of those villagers killed have been recovered. 2 are still missing. The inhabitants of Yarrowbone are getting desperate and need some hunters and or heroes to find the missing settlers and save their precipitous meat industry from whatever is destroying it. Dun, dun, dun. Rancid Canyons of the Floating Death Sheep is a low-level adventure for swords and wizardry. It is also available for Dungeon Crawl Classics, I should point out. The adventure features the detailed village of Yarrowbone, featuring NPCs and 22 locations, which can actually be used as a base for further adventure. There's immersive NPC and building art, 6 pieces of cool cartography, 3 new juicy magic items, 7 tricky new adversaries, 5 engaging mapped encounter locations, a table of additional adventure hooks, a table of NPC names, as well as information on fitting the adventure into the Lost World setting of the Midderlands, which I have reviewed, and it's very cool. This 60-page Rancid Canyons of the Floating Death Sheep, say that 5 times fast, is available right now in PDF over at DriveThruRPG. Once again, it's for Swords and Wizardry and Dungeon Crawl Classics. There's 2 separate editions. You can get either one for $13.19. I don't know where that pricing came from. I don't know where Glenn Steele came up with $13.19, but there it is. I have to chuckle. Flaming Red says, damn, all those people play D&D are like, WTF? We have to not kill everything? Talking about Coyote and Crow. Yep. All righty. Coco B says, sounds like it would make an interesting review. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, that's it for the news tonight. Once again, I was talking about good old DriveThruRPG. Please keep in mind the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, keep in mind, if you're going to DM's Guild, Storyteller's Vault, any of the One Bookshelf sites, you can still click on our banner ads, even if it says DriveThruRPG, and then simply select from the left side the website you want to go to from DriveThruRPG, and the affiliate code stays active. I believe. That's what I've been told. I don't know, but I think that's the case. All right, sweet. Very cool. Zipped right on through the news tonight. So we are going to be taking a look at the Gamemaster's book for 4th edition Fading Suns in just a couple of moments. Something I did want to mention, somebody had sent me an email and they said, hey, I really appreciate the fact that the Gaming Gang tackles all different game companies, because it's kind of gotten to the point where, not picking on anybody in particular, but there's a lot of outlets out there that only share news from certain companies. And I'll give you a great example, like ICV2 is a prime example. They have news from Games Workshop. They have Asmodee, all the different companies under Asmodee. But there's a lot of companies, like I'll give you a great example. We were just talking about Glenn Seal over at Blood Monkey Design and Publishing. You'd never see a news piece on ICV2 from them. You wouldn't see something from Plastic Soldier Company Games. That's PSC. We were talking about Blitzkrieg. Probably wouldn't see something from them. So something I just want to mention, I mean, I've always taken great pride in sharing news and reviews for companies that, you know, they get lost in the shuffle a lot of times. If you followed the Gaming Gang going way back, which I doubt anybody here watching has, maybe in the end there'll be one or two people who are like, yeah, we've been hanging out at the Gaming Gang since 2010. We covered Victory Point Games. And at the time, Victory Point Games, their games were all kind of like desktop published. They came in Ziploc bags. But a vast majority of them had really good gameplay. They were very interesting games. And the Gaming Gang was one of like 2 outlets who actually gave Victory Point Games the time of day. And they became a pretty good company with games that rivaled the production quality, rivaled everybody else's. Although then they were sold and now they barely exist. But at one time, nobody talked about them. And that's kind of how I look at things. It's like if something sparks my interest, if I run across it, or if somebody sends me an email talking about, hey, you know, check this out, or we've got this going on. If it catches my eye, if I think it's going to be interesting to other people out there, I'm definitely going to share it. Something else I was going to mention that this person who emailed had talked about was how it seems how so many outlets now seem to only share news about Kickstarters. I was like, because I got to be honest, said it before, I don't really tend to watch other people's videos. I don't really visit other people's websites either. It's just because I don't have time. But I know what they're talking about. I understand what they're talking about. There's one that I know right off the top of my head because many of these videos and Gaming Gang reviews get posted, and that is Tabletop Gaming News, I think is what it is, .com. And yeah, their website, it's like almost everything on there is always a Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter. Just not my thing. If I run across a Kickstarter that looks kind of cool, like Coyote Crow back a while ago, then I share it. But you don't find that much Kickstarter stuff cooking over at thegaminggang.com. So I just wanted to say, you know, that it's something that I have always prided myself running the website on, is that I'll share news and reviews for games from publishers of all sizes, makes, and models. It's not like only, oh, well, I only cover Fantasy Flight Games stuff. That's a company I very rarely cover because I figure they don't need coverage from me. They got everybody else talking about them. So Madman says you can definitely find some gems from smaller companies. Yes. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, smaller companies generally also get bigger with more coverage. Yes, that's true as well. Other thing I was going to point out is I don't know about any of you watching or who are going to watch this, but I find it very irritating when I go to a website and it's just ads all over the place. And there's an article and it's like every paragraph is spaced with an ad. And they've got autoplay videos and shit like that, which we see a lot with tabletop gaming outlets. I just want to tell you, you will never see that at thegaminggang.com. Ever. Nope. Never. And I get it. These people are like, they want to try to make every penny they possibly can from every visit and every page load. No, to me, I will not go back to a website if I go to look at an article. It doesn't have to be gaming stuff; it's anything. And it's like, okay, so the article starts, and then boom, there's an ad. Or for one, you have to sit and wait for the page to load because it's got so much shit on it. And you're sitting there like, and then you get the first paragraph ad, second paragraph video ad, and you're like scrolling through and you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. You'll never, ever see that. I respect my visitors way too much to do that. And I don't know if it's something that other people who run websites just don't care about. All they care about is that they got 1/100th of a penny from your visit that day. I have too much respect for people to do that. So, Melwinius asks if I caught the Old School Essentials Kickstarter. Oh, thanks to me sharing that, they would have missed it. Oh, yeah, that was something that a lot of people were looking forward to. So, all righty. So I just wanted to share that with you. So, yes, you will never be inundated with ads when you go visit thegaminggang.com. And I will continue covering different companies because that's just the way I do it. There's small companies that make really cool stuff. There's big companies that make really cool stuff. Companies of all sizes make crap too. So we're going to be diving into the Gamemaster Book 4, Fading Suns 4th edition, right after a short intermission.
Everybody loves pizza, the worldwide taste treat. And no one makes more delicious pizza than you'll get at our snack bar. Pizza, please. It's freshly baked to your order, served crisp and piping hot, skillfully prepared with a delicious combination of mozzarella, provolone, and Romano cheeses. In our full individual size, with our deluxe sauce that's lip-smacking good. Yes, everybody loves pizza. Join the crowd headed for the snack bar, where everybody orders that delicious, wholesome, taste-tempting pizza.
Slow down. Take it smooth and easy.
Oh, that Mr. Pibb goes down easy. That whore. No. 245 Tracks and says, speaking of Kickstarters, if you're into miniatures, Reaper has their 6th Bones Kickstarter starting in a couple of days. I normally do share a news piece about the Bones Kickstarters that they do. I normally don't have it on the show. And the reason is there's really no sell sheet info. It's just, here's all these minis for this sweet price. Ta-da! So I usually do share the Bones Kickstarters with folks who visit thegaminggang.com. Perkins is pointing out pizza and beer, I should say, at the cinema was a huge surprise when they were 17 visiting Cleveland. Yeah, that still isn't a big thing here. We do have some some theaters that serve food and drinks and stuff like that, but it's not something that you see much of. So Flaming Aaron says they don't make snack bar food like that anymore. I got to be honest. I really thought that guy ordering the pizza was very talented, seeing he asked for a pizza, please, without his mouth ever moving. That's skill. That is skill. That newfangled pizza thing. It was a hit worldwide. I don't know if you know that or not. All righty. So we are going to jump on in and take a first look at the Fading Suns 4th edition Gamemasters book from Ulisses Spiele. It's written by Jacqueline Brick, Brian Campbell, Vidar Edlins, James Estes, Andrew Greenberg, Andy Harmon, Christopher Howard, Sam Inabene, I think that might be it, Ian Lemke, Chris Leitz, James Maliszewski, Bill Maxwell, Rustin Quaid, Sasha Snitzer, and Bill Bridges. This 112-page hardcover is available for $39.99. I got this as part of the $129.99 slipcase set, which includes the character book, which we looked at yesterday, the Gamemaster book. Keep wanting to say Game Master's book, but it is the Gamemaster book. So we're taking a look at that tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to take a look at the Universe book. You can also pick up the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $14.99. As we got Russell Higgins with us in chat. Good to see you, Russell. Thanks for swinging on in to hang with us. All right, so let's move on over to the other camera, because here I have the Gamemaster book for Fading Suns. I was a little surprised that they went with a different background color, because the other two books, the character book and the universe book, have kind of an orange look to them. Here, I'll show you real quick. Like so, like a sun in the background. So I was kind of surprised that this has what appears to be like a jump gate of some sort. As I mentioned yesterday, as we were taking a look at the character book, I am not familiar with Fading Suns at all. I did interview Bill Bridges back in, I want to say, I think it was 2019, before this went to a Kickstarter. And outside of that, I know it's kind of a space opera sort of theme to it. So let's jump on over and take a look at the back here. A far future passion play. It is the 6th millennium. Humanity spread across the stars and built a republic of advanced technology and universal emancipation, and then squandered it, fought over it, and lost it. As the light of the stars began to slowly fade, a new dark age descended upon the known worlds. Then, from the ashes of war and ruin, Emperor Alexius rose to power and ushered in a new era of hope. He calls now for brave knights, wise priests, and resourceful guilders to bring his peace to all the worlds, known and unknown. So that's the same that was on the character book. The Gamemaster book presents people, places, and plots for Fading Suns. Herein are guidelines for creating dramas for the player troupe and how to populate them with all manner of non-player character allies, rivals, and foils. An example drama is included, as well as a roll-by-roll description of play. Now that's interesting. I'd like to see that. All right, so let's jump on in. So first thing I will mention is the paper stock. Pretty nice. It's got a bit of a sheen to it as well. Now, of course, the fine folks over at Ulisses Spiele were kind enough to provide me with the 4th edition Fading Suns slipcase, which, of course, includes the Gamemaster book. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts and coverage about this with you. And of course, these days, it's important that you know that. I'm also going to stay picture in picture up here. So that means I'm going to be cutting off a bit of the upper left portion of the book as we take a page through. Speaking of paging through, we are not going to look at each and every page. I just want to give you a feel for what's in the book. And of course, it's just stream of consciousness. There's nothing scripted here. So I'll just comment as we take a peek. Once again, let me point out, I don't know much about this system. I have not jumped into the character book yet, but it looks pretty interesting. It really does. Phantom of Truth is with us in chat, and they actually just put out a super chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Phantom of Truth, if there's a question or something that you want to ask, that's usually how super chats kind of work. It's sort of like, oh, you got a question? I'll give you an answer. So, but yes, thank you very much for the super chat. All right, so we got the introduction here. Welcome to the Fading Suns Gamemaster Book. It's one of 3 core books. We've already talked about those. The other 2 are the Universe book, introducing the setting and background of Fading Suns, and the Character book, providing the rules of play for the game, character creation, which there are tons of options, which we saw quite a few of last night. And also details on the traits that describe characters in rules terms, technology, and finally, occult powers. It's talking about mastering the game. So chapter 1 is drama. Oh, I see we've got that stained glass artwork again in this book. So we have rules for game masters. So it looks like we've got some fiction here. So we talk about NPCs, NPC cards, the troop coffer, which I believe is kind of like, I think it's like bennies or like fate points almost. I know we were talking about this system uses victory points. So you utilize a D20. I think that's the only die that you're using. At least that's what we were led to believe taking a look at the character book last night. And say your number that you're I don't want to say challenge number, but the number that you're trying to roll under is a combination of your attribute and like skill, like trait added together. And you want to roll as high as possible underneath the number. Joshua Edwards is also popped out with a super chat. Uh-oh, what's got into you guys? Saying, thanks for years of enjoyment. Well, thank you. Thank you for hanging around with us for years. It is much appreciated. So it's a discussion of how to run the game. But once again, last night I was talking about the system itself. It looked like it would be different and maybe not necessarily a good thing. Different. I don't know. So somebody had shot me an email saying, hey, are you trying to say that, because I had used the term busy work, because there are some role-playing games where the systems look cool, and then once you get them to the table, it's like, man, this is a lot of work. They were like, oh, so I get the feeling that that's how this system is. I don't want to give you that impression because I don't know. That was just the vibe I was kind of getting. And of course, once I read through the character book so I can do the review, obviously I will know much more about the system and give you a feel for how well it'll probably run at the table. So here we get, it's basically kind of a breakdown step by step as far as building your stories. So that's cool. So we're getting some genres, it looks like. So adventure, Fate of Empires, frontier, horror, mystery, relationships. Oh, it's a love story. speculative, thriller, and war. Now, if I remember correctly, Flaming Heron has some background with, I think it was, if I remember right, second edition Fading Suns, and had mentioned that the setting is very cool. And that's what I had always kind of gotten the impression of, that it's got a bit of a kind of a Dune flavor to it with the Empire, and just really unique. Okay, so we've got dramatic structure. That's kind of cool. Epics. Alienation versus connection. Tragedy versus redemption. It's pretty wild. You don't see a lot of role-playing games go into this kind of detail about, it's the Joseph Campbelling of the system. I know, maybe that comes across kind of weird, me saying that, but kind of a breakdown of how these stories are created, or how you can create. Using cards. Where do we get this? I am not a huge fan of using cards in role-playing games as something mechanical to the system. I talked about that when I was mentioning Torg Eternity, which is also from Ulisses Spiele. Another game, really, really dig the setting. It's very interesting. I love the different cosms, but the actual mechanics of the game system itself, leaves me cold. So I'm curious. It's using cards as a game tool. I guess maybe it's just for oracles. I would hope, because I thought from what we saw last night, all you need are some 20-sided dice. So then we get people. So they're talking about NPCs. Yep. Different types of NPCs. Headliners. There you go. The important NPCs. Agents, extras, role-playing extras. So we get some sample NPCs. Russell Lincoln says, like a fish cold? No, like a reptile cold. Russell says, they like Savage Worlds. Hey, there's somebody else watching who likes Savage Worlds. A lot. Runs, I want to say it's East Texas University, although I think that was his last campaign. I think he's moved on to a different setting. Yes, there you go. Man, it's like, who, me? Yes, you. All right, so we've got just some examples of different NPCs. I would say, as far as their stat blocks, their breakdowns here, reminiscent of Call of Cthulhu is what it kind of reminds me of. And of course, yes, this is not this is not a percentile game. This is not basic role playing or anything like that. I get that. All I'm saying is just the block itself kind of reminds me of Call of Cthulhu NPCs. Now, one thing you'll notice taking a look at these examples is not a lot of like deep dive into their personalities and stuff, because these are just example NPCs. So yes, it's Rippers Resurrected now. And Russell says they like Rippers too. And if I understand correctly, Rippers Resurrected is a Victorian era horror role-playing game, I thought. I could be wrong. I don't know tons about Savage Worlds. I've reviewed a few Savage Worlds releases, but it has been a long, long time. All right, so we get some example creatures, which I would think will get a bestiary in the universe book. So this is still in the people section. So we've got monsters. So different monster or creature traits, different creature attacks. I really think this looks pretty damn interesting. Madman says, yes, that is exactly what Resurrected is. But as far as I understand, once again, I might be completely wrong. I thought Ripper's Resurrected is more kind of a high adventure sort of Victorian horror, as opposed to, like, say, a Cthulhu by Gaslight sort of horror game. All right, so now we get into places. The role of place. Place as an antagonist, as a gatekeeper, as grace, as a puzzle, as hell, as a last stand, as a mirror, or as a power. So talking about different environments and traits that the environments would have. No, it says places don't get traits like NPCs, but there are some topics should be determined for the places in your dramas. Who owns or runs the place? How is the church represented? What and where are the markets where people go to trade? What is the generally available tech level of goods and services? So then we get an example place. Hargard. Some discussion about present conflicts. I'm going to take a guess that's throughout the empire here. Playing the game. Here's our example of play. I also get the impression that Fading Suns is a scene-based role-playing game as well. So here's our example adventure, our example drama, our introductory drama. Says the troop is on Hargard, sent by their patrons, or patron, either or, to rid an imperial nobleman's fief of a marauding evil. For months, the Yngmark realm has suffered monster sightings and attacks, and the local lord has called in every favor to enlist help. The troop, beholden to those who answer the Lord's petitions, arrives in the wilderness realm to troubleshoot the crisis on their patron's behalf. They have to go kill the rats in the basement of this nobleman. Because isn't that like kind of like the traditional like introductory adventure, or sewers, where they have to go down into sewers. All right, so we get some NPCs here. So yeah, so we've got different scenes. There you go. Like I said, I had the feeling that this is kind of scene based. So then we have the second act. Then we have the third act. Oh, there's the monster. There's a spoiler for you. There's the monster. So Phantom of Truth says if there's any questions about Fading Suns, they have the answers. So discussion of the tech levels here. So tech level 0 is from Origin to Stone Age. Eminent tech level 5 and 6. Immersive tech 7 and 8. UR tech 9 and 10. And then we get an NPC template for headliners and then extras. I was going to say the minor NPCs in other role-playing games don't warrant much information like this. All right. That is the Gamemaster Book for Fading Suns. I did mention, since this is a shorter book than the character book, we're going to take a look at the Gamemaster screen real quick that the fine folks over at Ulisses Spiele were kind enough to send along to me. getting some stuff out of the way here. Adventure beckons. I wonder if we get an adventure in this too. The known worlds and beyond host many dangers, all of which can be resolved using the charts provided in this sturdy 4-panel Gamemaster screen. Herein are the most useful rules and charts: sequence of play, VP costs, resistance ratings, environmental conditions, ranks, and more. Also included are punch sheet tokens for victory points and weird points. It must be the occult. Making it easy to gain and spend these action resources during play. Okay, well, looks like we're not getting an adventure. Here are the tokens. Pretty thin. Got to point out, this is just cardstock. Pretty thin cardstock there. So here is the Gamemaster screen. So that is the artwork from the character book. That is the universe book. And then this is from the Game Masters. Or I should say Game Master. It's singular, not plural. Gamemaster book. So let's see what we've got here. So this is the spending victory points, sequence of play. What are you going to do? How does that work in the rules? Did you actually do it? That's kind of funny. How well did you do it? What opposes you? And what's the end result? All right, that's kind of the sequence of action resolution. So we've got resistance ratings, capabilities, environmental conditions, skills, listing different skills, size and movement, falling, strength, how much you can lift, common maneuvers. So we've got dodging, stonewalling, shake it off, gunfire, burst fire. Here's a tech level. So we're at tech level 4. That's what it looks like here. So Phantom of Truth says, I'm stuck with Super Chat. Just subscribe today. That's why they're in Super Chat. Yes, because you have to be a subscriber for 48 hours or more to be able to take part in chat. It's just one of the ways that we keep some of the more odd commenters, I guess we'll call them, at bay. So I have ranks chart discussing these as well. And that is what we find with the Game Master screen. Cool, very nice. I would say this is nice and sturdy, so this should hold up. Very nice. Cool. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera. So I will have a review of the Gamemaster book for 4th edition Fading Suns in the near future. So all this week, it is Fading Suns week, because tomorrow on the Dispatch, we are going to be taking a look at the universe book for Fading Suns. This looks like this probably clocks in about 130-ish pages. Okay, I'll cheat. I'll look. 120. That's close. So we'll take a look at this on tomorrow's show. And then later in the week, I also have a couple of other books, as well as the play kit, which I am not sure what the play kit is. So got the play kit. So these are going to be standalone videos. I've got the faction book for 4th edition Fading Suns. And then I also have Intrigues and Escapades, which I'm going to assume includes some adventures as well. As always, when I do a first look, I do not crack these books open ahead of time. So as I'm taking a look at it, you're watching live. It is the first time I've seen it either. So that's how the first looks work. So if you're kind of sitting there thinking to yourself, well, geez, how come Jeff doesn't really know much about this? That's why my first looks are truly first looks. Usually I don't even read the back of the box or the game book. All righty. So we'll see if anybody's got any questions that they want to toss out there. So it looks like the madman was discussing maybe some weird World War II. I think it's what do they call it? Is it Weird War II or is it Weird World War II role playing that he may have been doing? I think I saw that kind of flashing by in chat as well. All right. So that's it for tonight's show. Once again, tomorrow night, we're going to take a look at the Fading Suns Universe book. So if you are curious about this, definitely check it out. The Madman says it's Weird Wars 2 is what the Savage Worlds genre is called. So, of course, let me remind you, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when I stream the Dispatch live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It also will let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of Burning Tundra. Yes, the finale in the Pathfinder Quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path from Paizo Inc. As this review is on the very near horizon, so stay tuned. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because you keep me company so I don't feel like a complete dork just talking to a camera. So, but I also know a lot of people out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. However you watch, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. Once again, I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, as always, here's wishing each and every one of you always get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.